Death Troopers. Oh yeah, here they are. Death Troopers. Holy crap, it worked! Look at that, guys. That model looks so good. Those look so good. Man. Alright, let's squash these rebels, shall we?
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Enough of this. Vader, release me.
As you wish.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Today, we are going to do a modding tutorial for Star Wars Empire at War and Forces of Corruption as well. So both of them this will work for. Same kind of principle. You can basically add the models to either one, either Empire at War or Forces of Corruption. But we're going to go ahead and add a model, an infantry model, to be more precise, to the game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring this down here, and here we have Forces of Corruption's add-ons. You want to go here and you want to find an infantry model. So there's Mari Jade, so you can use that. There's several other Jedis like Sokotano. There's all kinds of different types of infantry. Here's an Imperial Scout Trooper. Saw Guerrero, cool. New Gunray, that's funny. But I have something specific that we want to add. You can add Cara Dune, that's cool. Mandalorian, that one Jedi with the weird mouth eye thing. So on and so forth. There's Qui-Gon Jinn, awesome. Okay, so let's scroll down and see if we can find what I'm looking for. And we are going to install. As you can see, there's tons and tons of models that you can get. Imperial Officer. Ooh, that was a pretty cool model. Let's see. Ooh, cool. Shock Trooper. That's really cool. There's a Stormtrooper. That's a really nice Stormtrooper, I think. Definitely probably grab that one later. Let's look at the Shock Trooper as well. That looks good. So anyways, let's scroll down. Keep going down. There's something specific I wanted to get. And you can use any of those though. For your mod, you're gonna go here, you can get Jar Jar if you want to. Misa Jar Jar Binks. Misa gonna shoot on you. Okay, Bail Organa. Where is it? Gonna be coming up here soon. There it is. This is what I want to get. So if you want to follow along with me, go ahead and download this Death Trooper. I have the link in the description below, but you can also, I also have the link to just the add-ons page as well, so you can just search for whatever you want. This is the one that I want to add to the game. Death Troopers. Oh yeah, awesome. So I already have this downloaded though, so I'm not gonna download it again, but go ahead and download that first thing. And then also you're gonna want to download, let me just go ahead and go to my folders here. You're going to want to download all these Empire War tools. The Allo Viewer, the DAT Editor, the Empire War Extractor, the MTD Editor, and that's all you're going to need. You don't really need these other things. And then also you need Paint.net. So download all those. The only one that you'll have to install is Paint.net. and that might take a while. So go ahead and download that. All the links are in the description below. So download all those and put them in like a mods tool folder, and then install paint.net. You'll need paint.net to create an icon. That's all you'll need for that. So you can also, if you rather, you can just download an icon pack or something, or just download an icon from the internet instead of trying to make one. But making one is kind of cool though. So we're gonna go over how to do that. So you got your mod tools and you're ready. So what do we need to do? So the first thing we're gonna need to do is create our mods folder. So you need to navigate to your corruptions data folder. So your corruptions folder, and then within that, so if you're kind of a noob to navigating files, you're going to want to find your Steam directory, go into Steam apps, then go into common, and then go into Star Wars Empire at War, and then go into corruption, and then you're going to want to create a mods folder. So create that, and then within that folder, go ahead and create a new folder called your new mod, or I'm just going to name it Death Trooper, since that's what we're adding to the game. So here's our new mod, so let's click in there, and in order to have, or every Empire at War mod will have a data folder. Oops. Data. And then within that, you'll have your other types of folders that you need. Okay, so in order to mod correctly, you're gonna have to have Empire at War files from the original game. So files from the original game. So to do that, you're gonna want to actually go back to your tools. You're gonna want to open up this Empire at War extractor tool. So open that up. And don't worry if it says this, because we're just going to navigate to where the file's at. So you're going to want to open up this. So technically I have it here on the desktop, but you probably want to go ahead and navigate back to your Steam directory, corruptions, and then go into your data folder. And this meg configuration is what you're going to want to open. So open that up, and then you're just going to go ahead and click here, extract all, and then from there you can select a folder where you want to save the original game files. I already have that done, so I'm not going to do it. So here we go. Now we have those files extracted. Everything that we're going to need is extracted onto the here. And you might also have, they might also have these put into meg files. You're gonna want to have to, I think you might have to have these as well, so you might have to extract these out. Anyways, so what we're gonna need is just a few files from these, and we're not gonna need that many. So let's go into our art folder, into our textures, and there's a certain file. Go ahead and type M, so it goes to the M's, and these are the files that we're gonna need. We're gonna need this, whoops, we're gonna need this MT command bar and MT command bar dot TAG. So copy both of those, create a new folder called art, go into there, and then create another new folder called textures. And this is in your new mod folder. Yeah, So then go into there and paste those two things in here. And this is how we get the icon into the game. So that way you have a Death Trooper icon or whatever infantry model that you ended up getting. That way you have that in there. Okay, so now that's all we needed with that. For now, leave your game files and go back to, and then go, actually let's go ahead and add our model to our mod folders here. So when you've downloaded the model, let's see, where's my Death Trooper? So here, when you downloaded the Death Trooper, unzip it with zip 7 or WinRAR, or even this extract all, the thing that comes natively with Windows. You can extract that here, open it up, and here is our textures. So go ahead, we're going to copy these over into this same folder because it's textures. Then we're going to go ahead and go into this folder, go back out. We're going to create a new folder called models. Click into there, copy everything in here. So copy all that, put it into our models folder. Perfect. And this is an awesome model because it has a lot of animations. It's a clone of the Stormtrooper model. So it has all the animations. What do I mean by that? So now we can go ahead and open up this IE Death Trooper Rifle.alo. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to right click on this and click open with, and you're going to want to find this viewer. So obviously you're going to have to probably go click and look for another app, and you're going to have to navigate to where you put your Allo viewer. So click on that and it will open, but mine's already defaulted to that. So I'm just going to close out and then reopen it. Okay, so we have our model open, but there's a problem. First of all, up here, you might have this as black or something. Go ahead and change that to white because you're going to want it to be white. Secondly, you're also going to want, you also don't see a model, right? Well, with infantry models, they are super, super tiny. So you see this little black speck here? That's our model. So in order to get closer, just use the mouse wheel and scroll up. And there we go. There's our model. We've finally got closer. So cool. Now we got our model. Cool. And what's cool about this viewer is you can click on this animations thing and you can see like how it's gonna behave. So you can like see like all the different styles of animations it has. You know, death or choking, dying, everything. You can just see everything that it will do. I think the only thing it doesn't have, no, it does have it. Cool. It has the crush animation as well, so that's cool. The other model I was working with last time did not have that, and it also has the crouch, so that's cool. We're going to be able to add the crouch ability to the Death Trooper, so cool. Alright, so to make our icon, we're just going to have to let's click on animations and get this guy in attention. So let's do that first. The attention animation. Not every model is going to have attention though. So if you're using a different model and they don't have the attention animation, don't worry, just pick something else that looks pretty decent. Like it doesn't have to be that. even the like attack ones where they're holding up their blaster or something like that looks pretty cool. But anyways, you're going to want to find an animation that looks good. So I'm going to go back to the attention. And what we're going to want to do though, is we're going to want to see their face. So you're going to want to set the camera, and you're going to turn the Y or the X axis down a bit. Let's see what that does. We'll have to do it a little bit more. So down to like 2 or 1. There we go. Maybe actually even 0. So let's go to 0. Perfect. And there we go. Now we have our model facing forward. And what you want to do is get the snipping tool. So grab the snipping tool and then grab it like this. And then you don't, well, hold on. You don't really need like the whole thing. Just like this is probably good. So there you go. So now you have an icon, or now you have a snip of this. So to make the icon, open your paint.net and then do Control V to paste that in there. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to crop this down so that it's only the Death Trooper. Then you're going to go to Tools and click on the Magic Wand tool. And you're going to select the white and delete. And then to get the rest of the white, you want to zoom in, select that part, delete, and then zoom in on this part. If you accidentally click on this, don't worry, you can just unselect by clicking up here, this unselect tool. But if you click the white, then just hit delete. So let's go zoom back out. There we go, cool. Now we have our cool icon. Now next we'll have to resize it. So let's just resize to 48. 48 by 48. And you're going to want to uncheck maintain aspect ratio so you can make it 48 by 48. Exactly. So there we go. Now we have our icon. Now we just need to save as. So save as, and you're going to go here, click on this, and click on PGA. So we're going to save it as a PGA. And as you can see, I already did this before with another model, but we're going to go out of this. We're actually going to scroll up and go to navigate to your Steam directory, mods folder, and our Death Trooper. Then you're going to click into data, art, and then go into textures. And you're going to title this. I don't think it matters what you title it, but most Empire at War mods go I button lower bar Death Trooper for us, for our model. Death Trooper. So cool. We have our little icon. So we're going to save that as and click OK. And now that's it for that. We can go ahead and close out of paint.net. We can close out of the snipping tool, no to save, and just go ahead and minimize that because we might need that later. Okay, so now we have our little icon. Now let's get the icon in the game. So how does it actually show up in the games? Because putting it in the texture folder isn't enough. You actually have to have it in the game. So next, you go into your mods folder and then go to the MT command bar, open that up, then go to File, Open. Then you're going to open the MT command bar again for some reason. I don't know why. And then you got to scroll down. Oh, wait. First, you got to navigate to your specific. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Did I do that wrong? Let's make sure I opened it in the right folder. So open that, go to Open. Make sure you're in the right folder first. let's go back out and go to our mod, our specific mod. Then open the empty command bar again. Then now we can open up the TGA version. So open that up. I would have added that to the wrong mod. That would have been kind of funny. But anyways, okay. So now you can go to Edit, Insert File. And now we'll add our icon, or our I button Death Trooper icon. And bam, there we go. We have our icon entered into the game. And don't worry, it looks kind of weird looking there, but once you're in game, it'll look fine. So we'll see that when we get there. So don't forget to file save that and then exit out. So there we go. We have our icon in the game. And let's go. So next we're going to want to also grab another. So let's go back out of here and go to our Force of Corruption original game files. Go into data. I forgot we're going to need something else as well. We're going to need the .text file, which, where is it? Is it not in here? That's weird. Oh yeah, that's right. So go out to your corruptions folder and then go into your data folder and click into text. This is what we're going to need. We're going to need the master text file English.dat. So go back out. So that was in your the main corruptions folder data and then text. So copy that and then go back to your mods, go into our Death Trooper mod, and then go into the data folder and then create a new folder called text. So this master text file is basically how the game adds those, little like paragraphs and stuff for each unit. So that's what that does. And it also adds like what the unit's called. So Death Trooper. So we're going to add those in as we go. So, all right. So the next thing left to do is coding. And the coding process can be time consuming, but it's not too bad once you get the hang of it. So what we're going to need next is obviously XML files. So let's go to our original game folders in XML. And then in your mods folder, go ahead and create a new folder called, you guessed it, XML. So let's go click in there. And first you're just going to want to create a file, new text doc, and then we're going to name this. Actually, let's scroll down and go to, it doesn't really matter which one of these, but as long as it's an Empire one. So the Dark Troopers. So let's go ahead and copy the name of that and paste that in. And then instead of Dark Trooper, we're going to do Death Trooper. And we can just leave the S. So yeah, Death Troopers. So that's cool. And then let's go ahead and open up this text file. And what we're going to want to do next is go to our ground infantry text file in the original game folder. So type in G for ground and search for ground infantry. So this is the one we want. So open this XML up, and you can just open it in Notepad for now. We don't need anything fancy or anything. So what we're going to want to do is copy this right here. And then we can just this part doesn't really matter. You can leave it as ground infantry units and it'll work fine. I'm gonna go ahead and rename it though to Death Trooper lower bar data. And then let's scroll down on our imagery here, and you're going to want to copy this one as well, this close, and you're going to paste that in. Now, you're also going to want to copy this part though, and if you changed it, if you didn't change it, leave it the same. If you changed it, just make sure they're the same. So that way they're open and then they close. So that way the game knows, oh, Death Trooper data is in between these two things, and then that's it. And technically you don't really need that either, but I'm just going to leave that just in case. But you don't really need that. So here we go. So now let's go ahead on our ground infantry. We'll type find, and you're going to want to type in Stormtrooper. So that way we can find the Stormtrooper data real quick. Now this one is just an event of a Stormtrooper death, and that's just within the Scout Trooper. This is still the Scout Trooper. So you want to keep saying next until you get to this where it says Ground Infantry Stormtrooper. So now you're going to want to copy this Ground Infantry Stormtrooper code, scroll all the way down until that closes. So it's closed right here. But we can continue on. We're probably going to actually, dang it. We're probably going to want to actually continue down until, because it looks like they have these death clones and stuff that we're going to want to take as well. So let's go back up. Because I missed that. Oops. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we got all that. So let's paste that in. Okay. So now that we got all those, we're not done necessarily. So let's click in here and let's continue down with our Stormtrooper. Find next thing and just keep going past the Rebel Infantry, Rebel Pirates, Field Commander, Squad, and here we go. We want to find this Ground Trooper Squad Stormtrooper. You want to copy that until it has the /infantry. So you want to copy this text and you want to put it under here as well. Perfect. So now we have everything we're going to need in the Ground Infantry XML. So we can close that one out. Let's go ahead and save this. And now we're going to want to open it. Oh wait, actually, let's open that back up. We want to save as, actually. And we're going to save it as a .xml. So this will save our Notepad text file as an XML file instead. We'll close out of that. Now it's an XML file, so we can delete that one. Actually, we don't need that one anymore. We want the XML file. So sweet, now we have our first XML file and we have all the Stormtrooper code transferred over. The only problem is, of course, it's still just going to be Stormtrooper. It's not going to actually do anything with the Death Trooper. So let's open that up. Actually, let's open it up. And this time, let's open it in Notepad++. And you don't have to. If you don't have Notepad++, you can still just open it in oh yeah, let me close those out. We don't need those anymore. You can still open it in just Notepad if you rather. It's fine. Just Notepad++ is a little bit nicer because it lets you see like issues. So like, for example, let's say that's deleted. You can tell that that got deleted because, oh no, it's all black. We need to get that back on there. And if that was deleted, your game's going to crash because it's going to say syntax error. There's something wrong. So if you have the game literally crash, that means you have one of these things deleted. So it's kind of nice with Notepad++ because you can kind of tell that everything's good. And you can even click on these and, you know, see if it's like minusing at the correct area. So see if you would have misspelled Death Trooper and Death Trooper data for these, then they wouldn't collapse like this. So that's kind of nice that you can do that. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead. And it is kind of nice too because you can collapse, and as needed, you can open them up. So cool. That's the advantage of it. Okay, so anyways, let's open up this Stormtrooper ground infantry first. And obviously, we're going to change this first thing to Death Trooper. There we go, Death Trooper. That's our, and this is creating the name. So this is now the name that we'll use elsewhere to call this code. So next, we'll rename this to, actually we'll just copy the front part and do capitals, death. So cool, we got that. But now we need to go ahead and copy this part. And now it's time to open up our text editor. So let's go to our text file, and to open that up, you're going to want to go to your tools. So go to your Empire War tools, and what you're going to need to open that is the .dat editor. So open up the .dat editor. Click File, Open. Navigate to your mods folder, Death Trooper data text. Open. Here we go. Now we have all the text that's in the game. So what you're going to want to do is click Edit, Insert New String, and you're going to paste that that text unit Death Trooper, and that when this code runs, it will grab this out of the master text file. So that's how that works. And then basically all we have to do for this one, oops, turn off capitalization, is just type Death Trooper. And you could just, we could do it like this, where well, I don't know. I think it's one word. I think it's just one word, but anyways, it doesn't matter. Either way you want to do it that way. So we got that one in. Good against, you can keep that the same, that doesn't matter. And then next thing we're going to change is this IE Trooper. This is the model. This is calling for the model in the models directory. So let's move this over and go into our Death Trooper data art models. And what we're going to do is right click on this and click rename, copy, and paste this into here. And that's what calls the model. Whoops. And as you can see, I forgot that dot, or I copied over that dot file. You don't want to do that. You want to keep that dot. And then here's an interesting thing as well. If you had variants of your model, so if you had different models in here, we don't have any variants, so we're not going to worry about it. But what you could do is you could change the variant based on what type of planet they go to. So that's kind of cool. but we're just going to keep it the same. So we're just going to paste this in all the way down. Paste, paste, paste. So as you can see, this is a lot of tedious work, changing things to make it work correctly. Okay, and then we have another one here, it looks like. So we're going to paste that one in there. Okay. All right, cool. So now every time this XML is called and this infantry character is called, it will pull these animations in this model. So cool. And let's go down, and obviously we don't need to change any of this stuff, but we do want to change our icon here. So let's go back out and go into our textures folder and right click on your icon, click rename, and copy that name because you have to have it exactly correctly the same. Paste it in. Okay, so next let's scroll down, and this just changes like the speed and stuff like that. So if you wanted to change stuff like that, you could. But I'm just going to leave it the same. So let's scroll down. You don't want to change too much affiliation. So if you wanted to change it to a different affiliation, you could. Damage. This is definitely something I want to change. So right now it only does 1 damage, and that's just a regular stormtrooper. But since this is a death trooper, I'm going to switch that to 3. Because I feel like death troopers should have at least, or should have twice as much power as a regular stormtrooper, so only makes sense. Okay, so let's scroll down, keep going. Oh wait, actually we also want to increase their health. So death troopers, obviously, I'm going to increase them to like 70 health. So they're going to have like 70 health, and they're going to be way more powerful. So cool. Let's scroll back down. Now these, you just keep these the same because these are just sound effects. So if you had custom sound effects, we could change these, but we don't, so we're just going to leave them the same. So, and maybe that'll be another tutorial for another day. If we had some custom sounds, we could change these. But we'll just leave them as the Stormtrooper. That's fine. All right, next we have, so let's just keep going down. Those are fine to say the same. That's just the sound effects. Okay, so let's keep going down. Don't need to change any of that. That's fine. Maximum targeting distance. So let's change this a little bit as well. Let's do 160. Chase range. Let's do like 70. Guard range. 220. Attack move response, let's change that to 70. And we'll keep that box the same. I don't know what that is, so we'll just keep that the same. Alright, so now we have our next thing, and this is the description of the unit. So we're going to change this, obviously, to death instead of stormtrooper. Death trooper. Sweet. That's changed. And then of course now we need to go back to our text editor here. And you should have probably left that open. If you didn't, go back in and open it back up. If you forgot to save, you might have to go back and re-enter this in. So now we need to put in our tooltip. So copy that text tooltip lower bar under. So let's add a new string, paste in that. And now we need a description of our death trooper. So to do that, basically you can just go online, or you can type in whatever you want. But let's go ahead and type in Death Trooper online and see what comes up. So this Wikipedia will come up, article will come up, and that's usually what you want to click on because it has a lot of information about those kind of units. So here's our Death Trooper here. And honestly, you could actually use that as an icon as well. If you rather use like a different image, this would be a pretty cool icon. You could click on that and create that into an icon using the paint.net or whatever. But anyways, we're just going to copy this whole thing and just put it in there. So that way we have something that's in there. You'd probably want to, like if you're actually creating like a mod and stuff, and you probably want to like explain like that it's how much more powerful it is and all that jazz. But for this, it's probably just as simple, just copy this and put it in there. So let's open back up our text tool and we'll just paste that in there. So there we go. We have our description of our Death Trooper. And we're going to go ahead and click save on that. And I think we can go ahead and close that out for now. So let's go back to our XMLs. So cool, we have that changed. Now let's continue down. You want to keep this Encyclopedia class Infantry the same because it's still an infantry unit. Death clone, Stormtrooper, Wolf, Death. So this is where you want to go ahead and change these entries to Death Trooper. So I'm just going to copy the word death instead of the entire thing, and then we'll replace these with the death in front. There we go. Those ones are fine. Remote death, or Death Trooper. So cool. So this will call these death clones from the Death Trooper thing instead. Death persistence delay. This doesn't really affect anything other than maybe the distributor death or whirlwind death or something, because the game data or the game constant XML file is what will make the bodies stay rather than this tactical bride cost, which is more information than you really need to know. So anyways, let's make this 40, because those guys are pretty awesome. And presence induced animation. So with the Death Trooper, we did have attention, so this is fine to stay the same. But however, if you had a model that did not have this attention animation, you might want to kind of click through and see like what would be the best animation for when Darth Vader and the Emperor come close. So you'll just have to click through and see which one would be the best. But if you have the Death Trooper, attention is the best one for that. So cool, we'll keep it at attention for that. And activate ability, we just want to keep that the same. That's your spread out ability, take cover ability. So that's all good. So cool, we're done with that one. So let's go file, save, so we can save our changes. Next, let's open up this one, and we're just going to go ahead. This calls on this death clone. So like we put up here, we changed that to Death Trooper. So now it will call this death clone, and it'll call the FW die. Let's go over to that. And as you can see, if you scroll up to the FW die. There they are. Okay. It'll call these deaths. And what it will do is it'll just randomly select one of these FW dies. So that way it has variance. So cool. So that's what that one is going to do. So once we change that to death, we're good there. And we'll change this one to death as well. Same thing with this one. This will call the crush animation, and our model does have crush. Obviously, if you have a different model and it doesn't have the crush animation, you might want to change that to something else more appropriate. I had a Navy Trooper model before, and we changed that to, oh wait, hold on, we're going to want to change this to death. Okay, to change this to death as well. Death Trooper, Death Trooper. Cool. Next, we're going to go to the next one and paste that death in there. And change your model's name accordingly as well. Like if you don't have Death Trooper, then obviously call the other thing. Or call it something else, obviously. So cool, we got done with that. Let's go ahead and save those. And yeah. Stormtrooper dialogue. Let's change that to Death Trooper as well. Now, this doesn't necessarily matter because obviously this is just like, you know, like a story mission type thing. So I don't think you're going to have a Death Trooper talking in a dialogue or anything like that. So that probably doesn't even matter, but we'll leave it just in case, I guess, or whatever. Let's hit save on that. And next we have our squad Stormtrooper. Let's change that to death, of course. And existing variant of Death Trooper, obviously. Unit text. Now that's obviously the same text as up at the front, so we're just put death in there. Oops. There we go. Landing stability. Squashable, yes. So yeah, if you wanted this unit to be more elite and like, oh, they're not going to be able to be crushed, you could say no on this, and then that way the rebel tanks couldn't actually crush the Death Troopers. But I think it's more realistic that they could get crushed, so we're just going to keep them as, yeah, they can get crushed. Okay, so that's it for the ground constant XML code, but now we need some more code. Before it'll actually work in game. So let's go to our Empire at War base game files again, data.xml. And the next code we're going to grab is from the scroll down, is from the Ground Companies XML. Ground Companies Empire. And again, we're just going to go ahead, click here, find Stormtrooper, to go scroll through and find Imperial Ground Company name Imperial Stormtrooper Squad. And you're going to want to scroll down and copy all of the ground company text. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, they have smaller and bigger squads and whatnot, but we don't need that. That's just extra stuff that we don't really need. So copy that. Open your Death Trooper XML. And scroll all the way down to the bottom and add this right here. Perfect. Now you have the ground company code in here. So now we can go back through again and change accordingly. So obviously we're gonna copy our Death Trooper text and replace the Stormtrooper with Death Trooper. Same thing with our text. Oop, don't paste. Copy. Replace Stormtrooper text file. Oh yeah, so this is a new text file. As you can see, this one's a squad. So we'll have to copy this and open up our text editor. You don't need ground companies anymore, so you can exit out of that. So yeah, go to your tools. Dat editor. File open. Make sure it's opening your mod text file. And then edit, insert string. Imperial Death Trooper Squad. And this will just be the text of what this squad's called. So Death Troopers. And I forgot to see if maybe that was that one word or what? Imperial Death Trooper. It looks like they separate it into 2 words. So cool. So we'll just say Death Troopers for that. Save. And we'll just keep that open because I think so yeah, we'll just replace this and then that'll be it. That's already in there, so we don't need to worry about that. So that's already in there. So we're good there. All right, so the 18, so here we go. We're at the damage here. So obviously you don't have to change the damage. You can keep it the same, but I'm going to go ahead and up it a little bit because it's a Death Trooper. So I'm going to do 18 times 3 is 54. So we're going to do 54 damage. And auto resolve health. Change to reflect the real health of the units. So I think we need to go back up and see what the health was here. And of course, remember, this is optional. You don't have to change the health or anything. You can just keep everything the same if you want to. But keep in mind, the Death Troopers will just basically be the same as Stormtroopers if you don't change it, which is fine. Where was that at? Ah, here we go. Tactical health is 70. I'm not really sure what that auto-resolve health is, to be honest. So, but I'm just going to make it like 150 or something, I guess. Hopefully that'll be fine. Okay, so credits. This is how much it will cost in the Galactic Conquest campaign. So we're going to increase this to 100. Piracy, 75. And we'll keep the build time the same. And then obviously for Death Troopers, you're probably, this is their tech level. So what tech level you're going to have it at? For the purposes of this example, I'm just going to keep it at tech level 1. But a Death Trooper is more like a tech level 2 or 3 infantry style, I feel like. So you'd probably want to increase that if you're actually going to have these implemented in the game. Or you can just leave it at tech level 1. Just whatever suits your fancy. But this will we'll have it at tech level 1 in the Galactic Conquest mode. And in I think Skirmish is a different one, but we'll see. Alright, so let's scroll down here. And see, Infantry. Great. Team type. So we're going to go ahead and replace that with Death Trooper as well. Oh, wrong type. We need the lowercase. Now, I believe everything is case sensitive, so you want to make sure that you have the same case on everything. Alright, so here's our squad. So, as you can see, there's squad Stormtrooper over and over and over. This is the exact amount of Stormtroopers that are in this squad. And this squad has 18. So this squad Stormtrooper has been written down 18 times to reflect the amount of Stormtroopers in the squad. And then, of course, the squads are split up into groups of 9. So there's 18 Stormtroopers. That means there's 2 squads of 9 troopers. So obviously you can change the numbers if you want to. You can make this you could make this 10, 11, whatever you want to make it. And then of course you can add as many troopers as you want to this. But for this, but I'm just going to go ahead and just replace all these with Death Trooper. And then another thing you need to make sure, so squad Death Trooper, where is that coming from? So scroll up. Oh, there it is actually. This last one that we made right here, this is what this is calling. So whatever you do, you need to make sure that it's spelled exactly like this in there. So that way it knows, okay, it's calling Death Trooper Squad, or Squad Death Trooper. So let's continue on replacing these. Paste, paste. So yeah, as you can see, it's not too difficult to make these changes. It's just some of the changes are a little bit more tedious than others. So it takes time, you know. That's all. And make sure while you're doing this that you don't delete any commas, and make sure it's spelled all the same, because if you don't, then it'll mess up. So we'll continue this on down the row. Perfect, perfect. Almost there. Perfect. Got them all replaced. Next, we're going to have to get the icon name again. So the easiest way, of course, is to go back to your texture folder, click rename on your icon, and click copy. Paste that in. Next, we need our model again. So go back to your models, right click, rename, copy, paste in, paste in. Perfect. So now we'll call those models. Again, down here, these are sound effects. We don't have any new sound effects, so we're just going to keep those as the default. Multiplayer. So here we go. Here's how much it's going to cost in Skirmish Mode. So let's go ahead and make this 500. Or here. How about 450? 450 sounds good. 450. And obviously you can keep it at 300, or you can jack it down to 1 if you wanted to. So then you can have just a massive amount of death troopers and destroy the enemy real quick. But that's no fun, right? So obviously I'm going to make mine a little bit more, and there we go. Okay, and this is how much you'll get if you kill the death troopers. I'm going to go ahead and make that 65. So like if someone kills the death trooper, they'll get 65 credits. And that's it for that one. So I'm going to go up here and click save. So we're not done yet. We still have a couple more XML files that we're going to need. So let's go back to actually wait, let's save this. We don't need this anymore. Close that out. And let's go to our Gamefiles.xml, our original game files. And this time we're going to look for this XML, containers. So, without the containers code, your units will just clump together and won't move. So you have to have them in a container, so that way they'll know, the game knows how to put, where to put the units at. So again, we're going to go ahead, click find, and find Stormtrooper. And here we go, Stormtrooper team. So we're just going to copy this container. Go on down. And here we go, the container ends right here. Don't forget the container end code. I did that once where I forgot the close container part and it crashed on me, so definitely don't forget that. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put the containers right here above the ground company, because I feel like it needs to come first, because it calls this, because the ground company is calling this team. So, but I don't think it matters. You can put it at the bottom if you want. And we're done with containers, so we can close that out. Or at least I think we're done. I think we're done. I don't think there's anything else in here. Just in case, you know. Yeah, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. Okay, so again, let's go ahead and grab our Death Trooper text here by highlighting it, copy, and we'll replace our Stormtrooper. Now just remember though that this right here, Death Trooper team, has to be the same as the one that you did down here when you did this team type Death Trooper team. So just make sure that these are both spelled the same. Death Trooper team, Death Trooper team. Perfect. And then of course next you're gonna need to copy our capitalized Death Trooper text so we can replace the text file. Text files. There we go. That replaces the text files. Scroll down. Everything else looks good. Ah, here we go. We need to change this, of course. So we'll go out. Go to our textures and rename on our icon here. Copy. And oh yeah, highlight that and replace. Paste. Perfect. Targeting distance. So let's increase that to 160. Idle range. Increase that to 75. Guard range 120. And attack response time, let's do 145. Tactical bribe 45. And obviously these are optional as well. These are just like little things that you can change to make them a little bit more tougher and more, you know, more like a Death Trooper, you know. But that's it. That's all we have to change. And I did forget one thing though, too. Let's go back up to our other text here. And there is another thing that I want to change. Here it is. So here is the accuracy for your unit. So if you put it down to 1, from 1 to make them from 1 to make them more inaccurate. So I think the bigger the number, the more inaccurate they are. So we're going to take this down to, for infantry, since these are Death Troopers, they're going to be super accurate. On vehicles, I'm just going to go to 4. And then air, we'll leave that at 70 because that, you know, it doesn't really make sense. They would be super good at air attack or whatever. But anyways, I wanted to go ahead and change that. Again, this is just optional stuff. You don't have to change this. But I wanted to make my Death Troopers a little bit more powerful. you could say. All right, so we're done there. Let's click save, file save. And finally, we're done with our Unit Land Empire Death Trooper XML. So we're done with this XML. So we can close out of it, close out of that. And now we need to grab a couple more XMLs, but these ones we're just going to be copying over and then making a slight change to each one. So first we're going to need to grab okay, that was right. You're going to need to find the game yeah, here we go. Game objects file. So you're going to copy that and go over to your mods folder and paste that into the XML folder. Next, you're going to right click on your Death Trooper XML, click rename and copy that name. Click into your game objects file, scroll down to where you find expansion units empire, and then go ahead, paste in your lead unit, and then don't forget this part, because I forgot this part on one of my when I was doing this, and I was so like I could not figure out why it wasn't working. The unit will not show up if you do not put .xml, and then of course we also need this file on each side. I'm going to go ahead and tab that and copy the file close. So what does this do? This basically, since we created a brand new XML file, we had to allow it to find that XML file. So we have to have the Gameobjectfiles.xml file to tell the game that, hey, look, read this file so that you can put this into the game. So without this, the unit's not going to show up at all. So just be careful. Like, I had mine like this the last time I did it. If you had it like this and you don't have the .xml at the end, it's not going to see it and nothing's going to happen. It's not going to show your unit in Conquest or anything. So just make sure that is all correct. Then go up here, save, and there we go. We'll close out of that one. That one's done. And the last one that we're going to need, the last XML that we need to have this fully implemented in the game and working, is special structures. So kind of a weird XML that you would probably overlook. You wouldn't think you would need something like that, but you do. So let's find this XML file. There it is, Specialstructures.xml. Sweet. So what does this do? This makes it so you can add the unit to skirmish mode. So everything's fine in Galactic Conquest. It'll already be in Galactic Conquest, but in skirmish mode you'll have to add your unit to this structures XML. So the quickest way to do this is to go find and then type in barracks. B-A-R-R-A-C-K. I think that's how you spell it. Yep. So that's not what we're looking for. So just click next, 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 next. Here we go. This is what we were trying to find. So you're trying to find this Special Structures Empire Ground Barracks. Obviously, if you're trying to add this to Rebels or anything else, you might have to keep scrolling down to find that. But we're going to add it to our Empire Barracks. So you scroll down until you find this units list. So we got this units list. So this will call for the company name. So what you'll have to do is open up your Death Trooper XML, scroll all the way down, and then scroll up a bit slightly until you find your ground company name, and this is what you're going to want to copy. Imperial Death Trooper Squad. Copy that, and then paste that in there, and then put a comma. There you go. We've added our Death Trooper Squad to the Skirmish Mode. So now just click Save, close out, and I think we're fine. Ready to give this thing a test. It should work. Everything is all settled, but of course this is the part where it could you think you got everything correct, but you might have missed something or you might have messed something up. So hopefully we didn't. Hopefully everything's ready to go and everything is gonna work. But this is gonna be the troubleshooting part. So now we're gonna right click on our mods folder and click copy. And head on over to your Steam directory here. Go to your library and click on your Empire War Gold game. Click on this gear icon. And what you're gonna want to do is type mod path equals mods, and then you're gonna paste in your mod folder. So perfect. That's good. Now you just hit exit, and then when you hit play, of course, switch over to Forces of Corruptions, and then hit play. And there we go. It's gonna load our mods folder, and it should add in our Death Trooper model. And click on a land map and just hit start. And we'll see if our Death Trooper squad's there. And it should be, because we didn't change the tech level. So it should be at tech level 1. We should be able to get them. And there they are. In their full glory. Whoa, that was a huge description. So that's something that you probably want to fix. We put too big of a description in there. So you'll probably want to fix that. Alright, cool. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Get a few more. Death Troopers. Oh yeah, here they are. Death Troopers. Holy crap, it worked. Look at that, guys. That model looks so good. Those look so good. Man. Goodbye, rebel scum. My death troopers will destroy you. Oh, or C-3PO and R2-D2, they ran into our death troopers. Kill Kyle Katarn. He's no match for death troopers. He killed one of them. Oh, he killed another one.
I copy. All right, men, take cover.
I'm out of the fight, but that doesn't mean I'll stay out.
Moving to that area, sir. All right, men, load your weapons.
Alright, death troopers have entered the enemy base. Destroy their buildings.
Yes, Commander. Heading out. Fall out, troops. Attack. Fire. Open fire.
We're gonna destroy them all.
Form up. Right away, sir.
Ooh, my death troopers. Take cover. They still did. They still wrecked them. Even if they weren't crouched. Because they're freaking awesome death troopers. They don't miss.
Reporting. We are victorious.
Yeah.
Reporting.
Awesome. Revenge of the death troopers. Alright, cool. We just demolished that easy opponent like nothing. With death troopers, it's easy. Alright, okay then. Let's check out Galactic Conquest. Make sure they're in there as well. So Empire, doesn't matter. Easy is fine. Or medium's fine. Starting tech levels 2, so we should be fine. But we have it in tech level 1, so they should show up regardless. Alright, cool. Let's check it up. There they are. Death troopers. Awesome.
Enlisting troops. Enlisting troops.
Obviously, this is kind of ridiculous, though, to like add death troopers like this at tech level 1 and everything. Probably want to be like tech level 4, maybe tech level 3. But yeah.
Reporting.
And let's do this. Death troopers attack. Oh yeah, here we go. Wait, what? Huh.
Choose your reinforcements.
Maybe that's something I missed then, huh?
Having their land bases in the area would go a long way in helping us keep the rebels out of our space. See to
What
it.
the heck? That's interesting.
Choose your reinforcements.
So here we go. That is code that I have no idea we needed to change. There's some kind of code that we need to change to make it so that he can land.
Tactical situation unfavorable. Retreat suggested.
So that's good that we did that. So now we know there's something missing. Interesting. But if we do this,
Commencing.
he's there.
In your orders.
And then
Choose your reinforcements.
we can land these guys, right? Uh-oh.
Advancing.
What?
Moving out.
There can be
That's
no
not good.
diplomacy with rebels. Deploy some troops and show them how we negotiate.
Advancing.
Your orders,
Hmm.
I'm ready.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad I did that, because now we have a problem. They're not showing up in, like, the conquest mode.
As you command.
Awaiting orders.
Oh,
Ready.
well, there they are.
Yes, sir. Moving to that area, sir.
What in the world?
Yes, General.
Roger. Heading out. Fallout troops.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to troubleshoot this, guys, and then I'll get back with you on what's going on there. Okay, so after troubleshooting, I did figure out what was going on. So, this is just something that you'll have to do. You know, you might have some issues as well with yours. Hopefully you didn't have the same issue I had, but if you do, you just have to troubleshoot, figure out what's wrong, and go from there. But for mine, it ended up being let's click into our XML here. It ended up being we were on a swamp planet. So remember these different variations that we created at the beginning? Well, I left this capital E right here. Obviously, that's not going to work. This file does not exist. There's no capital E dot ALO file. So I need to delete that capital E and save, and that should fix the issue. So there we go. Now we have to go back into the campaign to test it, of course, but it should be good. So let's go back into our campaign and we'll give it a test. So it should be updated now. So we're good. Let's go back in, go to our gear icon. We're still on that, so perfect. Let's activate our game and we'll test this thing out. Awesome. Alright, let's get down there and see if it works this time. I think I will go ahead and do that, just so that way, because I'm confident that it's gonna work this time. Let's do it. There they are. Awesome sauce. Perfect. But yeah, there we go. We did it. So this is exactly how you'd add new units, new infantry units to be specific to the mod. I have a friend on YouTube that has created a tutorial on how to add a spaceship to the mod, so you can check that out. But there was a lot of detail, and I kind of used that video to kind of learn how to do the infantry, but I noticed that there was a lot more details for the infantry, so that's why I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I forgot to take that description and make it shorter. So obviously you want to do that as well, make that description shorter. Let's open our DAT editor. File, open our text file for our Death Trooper mod, and then let's find our It's the text tooltip. Text tooltip. So scroll down, it's gonna be way down. Speech, it's text story, there we go, text tooltip. Death Trooper, Dark Trooper, Death Star, Death Trooper, here we go. Wait, that's the Death Star. There we go, Death Trooper. Yeah, that's way too long. So let's just delete that a little bit. And notice how it says like it's, you know, it's an elite soldier, it specializes in stealth, espionage, and stuff like that. So it might be a good idea to like add like the stealth special ability to the Death Trooper. Alright, so first off, yeah, that's much better. That description is a lot better this time. But you might want to also add something to like, you know, kind of like, oh yeah, you might want to also add like, hey, 2 squads of 9, just like that one. And maybe say something about the ability. So cool, guys. That's how you add a infantry unit in a nutshell. Obviously, if you wanted to add rebel unit, probably want to copy like the rebel soldier, not the stormtrooper XML data. But basically, you kind of go through the same kind of steps. First, you need to add the mod to add a data folder, add art, text, XMLs, and you know, yeah. And then you need to create your icon, and then you need to add these specific XML files, create this one, and then take the code from Ground Infantry, Containers, and Ground Companies Empire, or Ground Companies Rebel, you know, or Ground Companies Underworld, depending on what unit you're replacing. And of course, a vehicle, maybe if you're adding a vehicle, it's probably going to be almost the same process, I would feel like. I haven't done that before yet, so we'll have to look into that, and maybe I'll make another tutorial on how to add a vehicle, but it's probably close to the same process. But anyways, most people are going to be interested in adding space units. Let me pull this up for you guys. My friend here, or this video called How to Add Units to Star Wars Empire at War Forces of Corruption. And basically he just goes over adding a space unit, basically, specifically. And that's why I went ahead and added the, that's why I went ahead and created this tutorial, because the infantry is a little bit more complicated than, well, it's not necessarily more complicated. I think it was just different. Like you had to do a lot more different things to get it to add in. So if you're interested in adding space units, go click on this video, and I'll have a link to that in the description below, or also on a card, probably right about here, or well, I'll probably have my ending video. So at the end of the video, there'll be a card. Well, actually, there'll be a card up at the top, and then at the end, there'll be an end video where you can go click and watch on that video. So All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. And yeah, happy modding. You know, have fun getting this infantry in Empire at War. Peace, guys. See you next time. See you on the next one.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Enough of this. Vega, release me.